Hey, 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 what's going on, sexy crew? Sexy, fit, and well. My wellness engagers, what's going on? This is Candace Camille coming in for a quick chew on that. I'm taking a break from my studies. Actually, I'm studying out in the park today. And one of the things I simply talking to my clients about lately is beginning again, stopping and starting, stopping and starting. If you come in here, let me know who you are on this absolutely beautiful day. It's absolutely beautiful out here today. I'm out in one of my little funky little spots that I come hide out in the neighborhood. You know, I done rode my bike for 30 miles today. Hey Maria, how you doing? Hey Cheryl, what's going on? I will begin again. And you know, I'm writing a paper on beginning again and starting over and stopping and starting and stopping and starting. And you know, at one point, are you going to stop starting? That's a mouthful in itself, right? At what point are you going to stop starting? Right? You're going to get it, right? You're going to get it. And I'm talking about, you know, when I jump on here, I'm talking about your health. You know, I'm talking about your wellness. I'm talking about your well-being. I'm talking about how many times, you know, would you stop and start and begin again, right? So if you're on here, let me know how many times I have not stopped. See, that's what I'm talking about. You have not stopped. When it comes to your well-being, when it comes to your health, you know, when it comes to exercise, and when it comes to, I have a new mindset. You better come on in here, sexy crew. You know, when it comes to your health, when it comes to you drinking water, you sleeping, you eating right, you're moving. How many times have you just stopped? You know, you stopped and you started. You stopped and you started, right? Hey, Irina, I do it for a little bit. At least I did a little bit. You know, you give yourself an out. You know, I get off the hook. At least I did something. So as I'm doing this paper on beginning again, how many times are you going to begin again? And I hear people say, I am going to do it, begin again when I feel like it, or how many times that it's needed, right? Power walk 8 miles, did my yoga. My health is the first thing. Everything else is the next thing. Yes, my health is the first thing. Everything else is the next thing. And that sounds really, really good. It sounds really, really good. But are you sticking to it? I know my sexy crew members are sticking to it. Hey, Teresa, it is awesome to see you in here. You walked your 8 miles today. You had your yoga session. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I rode my bike 30 miles today. I rode it 30 miles yesterday too. I don't know what I was thinking, but the fact of the matter is, because I practice wellness, I can do that. I don't begin again. I practice being well. You have to practice being well. You know, so, you know, I was doing my Bible study, and I'm always interested to know what God said, right? Because we really do understand what God said and what he's saying. And I asked one of my sexy crew members to find the scripture for me, because when you know what you know, when you know the truth and you know the knowledge, you know, you often hear us say, God is going to forgive me for my sins, right? Right? God is going to forgive me for my sins, and no matter what. But you know what? In Hebrews 10:26, it says you can't keep repeating the same sins over and over and over again and expect to be forgiven for them. I had to look that up, right? Because I was like, now I don't understand this, because that means that you can just keep doing the same thing, keep doing wrong over and over again, and God's going to forgive you. I had to ask my Bible peeps. I had to ask my Christian sisters. I had to ask my sister, is that true, right? So they sent me scripture after scripture, but one of the scriptures that stayed with me, and I wrote it down because it's Hebrews 10:26, and I love the Amplified version, right? So you guys pull up Hebrews 10:26, and it said, for For if we go on willingly and deliberately sinning after receiving the knowledge of the truth, there is no longer remains a sacrifice for us to sin. In other words, if you go on willingly, if you keep messing up over and over and over again, doing the same thing after you get the truth, after you know the knowledge, right? So my question to you today is, what are you pretending not to know? What are you pretending not to know? For those of us that follow the Bible, what are you pretending like not to know? You can't just keep beginning. You just can't keep going. Begin again, begin again, begin again. At some point, you're going to have to stay. When is it going to be that point of reference for you to stay, Celestia Brown, another one of my sexy crew members in here? Are you at that point of no return where you are going to stay? So as I sit here and study, I'm out in one of my little favorite places here. Let me just turn the camera around, while I'll see where I hang out. I generally hang out here in the daytime, when I'm just in the neighborhood, right? In the neighborhood where I am. You are talking to me. You are talking to me. That's right. I'm talking to you. I am talking to you. At what point are you going to stop the starting and the stopping, right? At what point are you going to stay? Because that's what being well is all about. When you're talking about your complete, total well-being, we're talking about how you eat. We're talking about how you drink water, how you sleep, how you move, right? We're talking about those 4 basic things that we take for granted that we don't do, but we keep putting it off. I started a month ago. I started a year ago. I started 10 years ago, right? I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right. At what point are you going to stay right once you get it? See, you already know. You already have the knowledge. You already have the knowledge. What's stopping you from staying? What's blocking you? Because generally it's something that's blocking you. And generally it's your mindset, right? It's your mind. It's your limited beliefs. It's what you know, right? So right. It's time to be. It's time to be. Celeste, you already know. You already know. It's time to be. But we can all talk a good game. We can all talk a good game. But what you gonna do? You hear it. And anything I done said on here, you done heard it before. You done heard it from me. You done heard it from all sorts of coaches, right? But the question, it's your mind that's blocking you. Right, Maria. It's your mind, and it's your limiting beliefs. It's what you think you believe, right? It's what you've been taught early on to we stay right there. We stay right there is what we have been taught, right? You can always begin again. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace, right? Give yourself permission to just quit. Give yourself permission to just quit. I don't want to do it anymore. We can come up with all kinds of excuses. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too fat. I'm too thin. I don't feel like doing. I'm tired. I don't have any money. I don't have any time. We can come up with every excuse there is, but you got to get out of your excuse bag. You have to get out of your excuse bag when it comes to your health. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, hit the share button, hit the like button, and let's so. But don't stop. Give yourself some grace, but don't stop. Come on, Maria. See, because that's what it's all about. Give yourself some grace, but don't ever stop taking care of you. If you stop taking care of you, then who? Who's going to take care of you if you stop taking care of you? And even for those of us and the women that want to get into a relationship, that want somebody to fall in love with them, sweetie pie, how is somebody going to fall in love with you when you ain't in love with yourself? See, give yourself some grace, but don't stop. Don't stop. I'm planking down action over fear of failure. Yes, there is no failure when you do it. You didn't fail at something, you did it. Who said you failed at it? You did it, right? Yes, you did it. Come on now. You have to get in there and do it. On one of my masterminds yesterday, and we talked about when you giving yourself some grace. And one of my sexy crew members was saying, stop postponing the journey. Why are you postponing your life? When you stop doing your well-being, you are postponing. You are postponing your life. When I tell you, I love it when I talk to my crew because they'll come in there and pee on me. She was like, you postponing the journey. You can't postpone the journey. It was a whole lot to go with that, but if you want to know more of that, you're gonna have to join us in the Biggest Loser mastermind that we do, right? If you want to know about that, it's all about food. It's all about building up your food. It's all about building up your mind. It's all about building up your body so you can stay. It's a community where it keeps you accountable. You know, a lot of us think we can do this by ourselves. The reason why we begin again so many times is because we're trying to do it by ourselves. You can't do this by yourself. It cannot be done by yourself. You need a whole group of people. Hey, Ina, you need a whole group of people that's going to help you get to where you want to get to. Ina, I was just talking about you from one of my warriors, from one of my God warriors that helped me understand Hebrews 10:26. 10:26, because y'all just can't keep quitting on yourself and keep thinking God gonna forgive you, because sin is sin no matter what it is. Yes, community. Sin is sin no matter what it is. You can't keep repeating the same sin over and over and over again and think God gonna forgive you. You know, in my church, it was like God gonna forgive you for anything. And you know, I had some issues with that, so I had to find something. I had to find some scriptures. So if you go to Hebrews 10:26, you're going to know, it's going to tell you, you can't keep doing the same thing once you know. Once you have the knowledge. You guys have the knowledge. When you know what you know, you're supposed to flow and you're not supposed to stop. You're supposed to be like the stream. You're supposed to be like the stream. Once you know, you're supposed to flow. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Ina. Thank you. Yes, Hebrews 10:26, and I like the amplified version of it because it will let you know. Once you know the knowledge of something, once you know the knowledge, and you know the truth. Y'all know the truth. Y'all know what it takes to be sexy, fit, and well. You know what it takes for your well-being to do what it do. You know you gotta sleep for 7 to 9 hours a night. You know you gotta eat right. You know you have to eat well. You know you have to move your assets, right? We already know that. Once you know, you flow. You know it, right? Yeah, I'm calling you out. If I'm calling you out, yes, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You just can't keep hiding. And for those of you that's saying Jesus gonna help me, I'm telling you, Hebrews 10 simply said, you can't keep messing up. He let you know up front. You know, when I hear people say, yeah, I'm just gonna pray about it, listen, you already know. You already know the truth. You already have the knowledge. You already have the power. God already know. God gave you your marching orders. So how you gonna go? How you gonna go? No, you already know. God know. He know. He gave you the truth. So you just can't hide behind prayer because you don't want to do it, right? We have to take action. See, if you don't want to do it, own that too. But you just can't say, God help those who help themselves. Lord knows, Maria, my grandmother told me that scripture when I was a little girl. It ain't in the Bible, but there's a whole lot of supporting scriptures, right? And she's absolutely right. God has given us the power. Your shoulders looking hot. They do look kind of sexy though, right, y'all? I'm telling you. Oh my God, you know, this is 60 plus. Let me just stop and brag for a minute. Because even as I'm looking at them, right, I don't let them out too often, but they do look hot. Yeah, okay, now back to this. Zadie. You gotta take action. See, this right here is we're doing a whole, we're working in a weightlifting power zone inside of the Sexy Fit and Well Live Fitness Club. Listen, y'all, if you want to build your body, if you want to build your muscles, right? If you want to build your muscles up, right? If you just want your collarbones to come out, you got to take some action. You got to take some action, right? You got to take some action. Let me tell you, I act on this body every day. I like for it to be chiseled, right? And y'all think I work out all the time. I don't. I do my 60 minutes a day. Yes, you need to keep coming, get some of this. But you know what? I have a couple of sponsorships that I may be looking for, a couple of women that have some hardships that want to try, you know, the Sexy Fit and Well Live, the Sexy Fit and Well, you know, Live Fitness Club, right? So I got to see what I'm going to do to see if we going to get somebody in here, because some of the Sexy Crew members was so nice enough to sponsor some people to come in, just so you guys can see that it's not for advance, it's for where you are. It's for where you are, because we all know that we have to move, right? Movement is medicine. It is one, especially at this time of the year, it is one of the biggest, when you think about it, it is one of the biggest antidepressants, like especially with what's going on right now, right? We have a lot of stuff going on, mental trauma, mental health right now. And all you got to do is move your body. You got to change the physical position of your body. You start where you are. Absolutely. If you are at a beginner, that's where you start. If you are intermediate, that's where you start. If you advance, that's where you start. And if you are elite, you need to be in there. Because for some of my people that's been in there for 2 years, they at elite status. See, you can't come in on day one and say that you want to be at elite status. These ladies has been working in this group for 2 years. Every single day, 5 days a week, they have been working, right? So you have to say, what do I want to do? Am I going to commit to 2 days a week? Am I going to commit to 3 days a week? See, you just can't come out the door and say, I'm going to work out every day, and you have not worked out at all in 40 years. You have to start where you are. But I'm here to tell y'all, y'all just can't keep beginning again. You just can't keep beginning again. You know, in the Bible, Hebrews 10:26 said you can't keep doing it once you know. Once you know the knowledge, once you know what you need to do, once you know the truth, you got to follow through on the action part of it. Now, can you give yourself some grace? Absolutely. Give yourself the grace, but don't stop, like Maria said. Don't stop. You can slow down. It's almost as if you can bend a little bit, but don't break it all the way down. That stops you in your track. You deserve it, and that's a big word. A lot of us don't think we deserve to be well. We deserve to take this hour a day. Yes, grace, but keep moving. That's the key. Because let me tell you something. It's going to be challenging. Listen, change is challenging, but all you have to do is keep going and understand that your change is on the other side of your challenge. So whatever you're looking for, stop starting and stopping. When are you going to stop that, right? It's hard when you stop and start and stop. Absolutely. Because what happens when you begin again and you start and stop, you thinking that you can start where you were. You thinking that you can start where you were. No, you done stopped. Now you have to not so much start all over again, but it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. As many times as it takes. At what point are you going to stop starting? You got to keep going. You can give yourself some grace, Lakeisha, but you got to keep going. Don't stop. You can slow down, but don't stop. Like I said, Hebrews 10 says, once you know the truth, once you know the knowledge, you have to keep going. You can't keep repeating the same transgression and the same sin over and over and over and over again and think God gonna forgive you for it. He said he's not in Hebrews 10:26, right? He said he's not. Y'all check it out now. And if y'all know, like I said, I talked to some Bible scholars because I wanted to make sure I was reading that scripture correctly, right? Listen, because at the end of the day, when you think about these temples, right, God has already given us the marching orders on what it is that we need. So if you're not doing what you should be doing, and I know you're saying, Coach Candace Camille, get out of my face. I'm going to start and do it as often as I feel like it. If I decide to stop and don't do it for 2 more years, but then you have to ask yourself, what's the risk for stopping? What's the risk for stopping? If you're not eating right, somebody tell me, what's the risk? If you're not moving your body, what's the risk? If you're not sleeping correctly, what's the risk involved? If you're not drinking enough water, what's the risk? What risk is involved in you not doing the right thing? Come on, Celestia. High blood pressure. What else? Somebody else tell me, what's the risk? Diabetes. Yes. Obesity. Come on. What's the risk? How many of you guys are dealing with the risk? What's the risk for stopping? Weight gain, health issues. You better talk to me, Ina. What health issues? What's the risk of you stopping? There's an ROI. There's a return on your investment if you're doing it every day. Yes, if you're doing what the truth, if you're doing what you know, giving yourself some grace, slowing down and doing it, there is a return on your investment. But there's another ROI. There's a risk of inaction, risk, high cholesterol. I can't play with my grandchildren's lack of energy. Come on, y'all. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. What is the risk of you not staying in it? There is some heavy risk, arthritis, aches, pains, joints. Come on now. All of this dehydration, stomach issues. All of that stuff that we're dealing with, all of this chronic cancers, all of this stuff that we're dealing with on a daily basis are the risk of not taking care of you. No, ma'am, you can't blame it on your mama. You can't blame it on your grandma because you say it's in your family and it's hereditary, right? It's hereditary. Diabetes is not depression. Come on now. Diabetes type 2 ain't hereditary. High cholesterol is not hereditary. Chronic illnesses is not hereditary. Risk of inaction. You better say that. What's the risk when you don't do what God said, what God done tell you to do? You can't keep stopping. Hey, Joan, you can't keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting, because when you stop and you start, these are the risks. Good answers, y'all. Chronic pain, obesity, high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, arthritis, dementia. You lose your mind. And if I'm scaring you a little bit, good. I'm hoping I'm scaring you enough to start today and keep it going. Keep it going. You gotta keep it going. Oh my God, you gotta keep it going. So I'm telling you, whenever you get in that moment and you need some motivation, of course you call the wellologist, right? But if you need some motivation and you need some spiritual motivation, go to Hebrews 10:26, because it's going to tell you, don't stop. You can't keep stopping and starting. It says give yourself some grace and keep it moving. So when you hear me say I had to really deep dive on begin again, because I don't want you guys to keep beginning again. I don't want to give you an out that says that you can mess up your health. You can't mess up your health. You are in control of your health. You don't get to mess up your health. You don't get to mess up your health. We have to make a decision. Tell me some of the decisions, Ina, you have to make. You got to make some decisions to simply say, you know what? My health is the first thing and everything else is the next thing. I don't want anyone caring for me because I didn't do my part. Oh, did y'all catch that? I don't want to be a burden because I didn't do my part. See, because if you're here, if you are blessed enough to get older and you're not taking care of yourself right now, you will be a burden on somebody else. Let me say that again. If you are blessed enough to get older, right? And you're not taking care of yourself right now. I was at a conference and people would say, not yet. Vicki Johnson said, yet is now. If you can say, I'm not taking care of myself yet, yet is now. If you're not taking care of yourself now, if you're not doing what's necessary for you to be better when you're older, you will be a burden on somebody else. So you have to ask yourself, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now so that won't happen to you? A lot of my Sexy Crew members say, you know what, Coach? Yet is now. Yes, that's a Vicki Johnson. I was like, come on, y'all. Come on, Vicki. Tony Robbins, and we say, when is now a good time to get started? Vicki said, yet is now. You better know that right now. Yet is not yet, no, now. Yet is now. You need to get up and do something now. Not yet. Did you do it? Not yet, Coach. Yet is now. Right? I thought that was amazing, right? Yet is now, because I hear a lot of it from my Sexy Crew members. So-and-so and so-and-so, did you do so-and-so? Not yet, Coach. Yet is now. Do it now. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing and do it now. So if you haven't started, if you're one of the ones that have been stopping and starting, get it down now. That's right. Get down to it right now. Right now is the time. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Right? Are you waiting for trauma? Are you waiting for drama in your body for you to do something about it? Right? Let me tell you something. Right yet is now. Get it done. Don't wait. The community is so amazing. Thank you, Ina. It really is. It's a place where it's a safe place, especially in the Biggest Loser Mastermind, where we meet every week. And our 90 days start tomorrow, right? So if you want to get into that community and you want to know what that's all about, inbox me. We're starting a new 90-day process of the Biggest Loser tomorrow, right? So if you want to get in that community and you want to know what that's all about, inbox me and say I want in on the mastermind, right? I want in on the mastermind, because that's where I get a chance to go in and you get a chance to go in, and we go in on what it really takes to be sexy, fit, and well. What is it? And hold you accountable to what you say you're going to do, and then find all of those little limiting belief things that's stopping you and blocking you. Because something about what you're doing, if you are a stop and a starter, is something going on in your mental muscle that's weak, that's stopping you and blocking you. So we got to build the mental muscle up before we can build these, these little shoulder muscles up. You got to get it. You can't get your body tight until you get your mind right. I absolutely love my shoulders this time of the year. Listen, and I love chokers. So if you somebody out there that make chokers like this, hit the Wellologist up. I absolutely love them. I have a little tiny neck. So if you know somebody that got some jewelry like that, listen, I love a choker, because see how it just makes the neck stick out nicely, right? But anyway, for today, I thank you guys for coming in here. If you know anybody that needs to hear this, and if you need to know that you need to stop what you're doing, if you're starting and a stopper, go to Hebrews 10:26 and let it sit in your soul. Have a seat. Let that scripture, Celestia, let that scripture take a seat in your soul, because that's where change takes place. I want you guys to feel what I'm saying in your soul. That's where it takes place. So sit with it and begin now, yet is now, and stay. It's not about starting, it's about staying. Give yourself some grace, but don't quit. Chew on that. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for being here.